Owen, why have you got something on your nose? I'll tell you why. So I've been concentrating on trying to get better sleep quality at the minute. One thing that I feel I'm guilty of is breathing through my mouth when I'm asleep. So by opening up my nasal passageways, hopefully that will give me a better and more restorative sleep. If you want to learn more on something like that, then Brian McKeown, the guy who wrote The Oxygen Vantage, is a really good place to start. And for you ASMR lovers, personally, I do think it helps. In the morning, I do feel a bit more restored. I feel like I've had a better sleep quality. I don't wear them every night because, one, it seems like a bit of a waste. Two, it can leave like a tacky residue and like leave little spots. But I'm willing to sacrifice that a couple of nights a week just in order to get that really good sleep quality. If you could package or sell what sleep gives to you in a pill, then everyone would be buying it. That's something that we could probably all benefit from and invest a little bit more time in. Coffee. One of my weaknesses in my training is my overhead pushing strength, and that's through multiple dislocations and issues that I've had with my shoulders, both of them over the years. I've made a real effort this year to make that overhead pushing strength my goal, and I want to get 5 freestanding handstand push-ups by the end of this year. So in order to do that, a lot of my focus has been on pushing strength. Various things, frog to handstand, also deep pushing strength or deep pike push-up. So to start with, we get the rotator cuff nice and warm. So internal, external rotation. I've already done a little bit of self-myofascial release to enable me to get into better positions. So loosen off, stabilize, strengthen. This is an exercise you may or may not have seen before. This is really effective for firing up the serratus anterior. It's a muscle that is responsible for keeping the scapula tucked back. Basically it sits underneath here if you get any sort of winging. Really effective, you don't need a lot of resistance. Arm shoulder width apart, keeping the wrist above the elbow, drive overhead. I'm not very good at this. Bring the head all the way through, in line with the biceps, back down. From the side. Another fundamental exercise which I like to incorporate is hanging. The ability to create tension with straight arms, drawing those shoulders or scapula back and down, and then releasing. So being able to both hang passively and actively. Absolutely fundamental exercise. That is the first movement of a pull-up. You need to be able to draw the scapula back and down and then pull, like this. So you pull and then come all the way up, rather than just trying to come up from here. So engaging the scap, pull back, pull down into that passive hang. As this is a push-focused session incorporating hand balancing, now I've been through the movement prep phase, I'm going to start moving into a patterning phase in line with the School of Calisthenics framework. So I'll be looking at hand balancing, interaction with the floor. This also has the ability to strengthen and warm up the wrist. So I'm just putting myself into that position, just exploring, not spending ages in that position. I'll also pair that with a little bit of direct wrist prep. I'm basically putting my wrist into the opposite position now. So rather than being palm down, turn it into a flexed position. Just explore those corners. twisting the elbow, pointing it back, so that torques up the forearm. As part of my training at the minute, I'm trying to go from a frog stand into a handstand. One way that you can effectively train that movement pattern is by doing the eccentric. We are 40% stronger in the negative of any movement. That's why when you go on a bench press with your buddies, you might be able to lower a weight down, but you can't then push it back up. So by working or training the eccentric, lots of time under tension, and effectively get you stronger and eventually be able to push back out of those positions. So using the wall, I'm going to bring my heels to my bum and then work hard to control that eccentric. Now to start connecting the dots between that eccentric, I'm going to use a band around my waist, which will then decrease my load or my body weight that I'm having to then exhibit force from. So I can push up, hopefully this will help, start to connect the dots. That's the theory. The resistance band is over the top of the squat rack, onto my hips. I'll go from frog stand. Also, the band allows me to string together 2 or 3 reps so I can build a bit more applied strength in this specific movement pattern. Having this resistance band on, it also means that I can potentially get a few more reps out, thus building time under tension, but also that applied strength that I need in this position. That's the theory. Although everything feels like hard work today, so I'm going to get a thicker band. Thicker band. And finally, building strength through range, getting a few more reps in. Think of it more as capacity strength. So my feet will be on the top of there. I'll be using these to increase the range of motion and therefore build more strength through range. The idea being, when I'm doing like a handstand or handstand push-up, I'm in the middle of that length tension relationship. By becoming stronger over a greater range, this means that theoretically when I come back to the floor, it should be easier. So something I also like to do is pair my push with a bit of pull. For me, I really want to get a front lever, but that is a secondary goal to my handstand push-up or freestanding handstand push-up. Still doing bits, and I'll show you that now. I'll be working in a pull pattern, so this front lever, but a lot of straight arm strength, which will theoretically complement my handstand work, but it's hard. Keeping a tucked position. It's hard work. Notice how I am keeping that lever length nice and short when I'm in that front lever. Another way that you can increase the amount of force that you're having to generate is by extending that lever length but not putting both legs out. So I'm only going to put one leg out. Same setup, take a good grip, sit back, tuck in. The main thing I'm thinking about is not sagging in the middle, keeping those glutes nice and tight, erector switched on, boom, leaning back into it, extend that leg, bring it back. It's slightly harder than keeping it tucked, and then over time, gradually either extend one or both legs. So that is it, workout done. Hopefully that gives you a bit of an idea what a push and pull calisthenics style workout involves. Whether you're struggling to do anything at home at the minute, there's loads of resources out there. Maybe even have a look at the rest of my videos on the channel. Don't forget to like, subscribe. Chuck me some comments down below what you'd like to see more of in the future. Hopefully that was helpful. Keep training, do what you can during this time, especially during lockdown. Thank you.